Humanities, episode 73.
Is it?
73.
Didn't look.
I did.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Welcome back to Twin Humanities. Twin Humanities, in the podcast world known as the birth of a legendary gaming reference, now sharpened for a new generation. That's about us.
Everything hurts. Don't even mention that.
What? People say that.
I've
been saying it in my head since I wrote it down.
There's nothing I enjoy more than a legendary gaming reference, in fairness.
Well, to be honest, you wouldn't have said that until you were sharpened for a new generation.
Oh.
To be blunt.
Do you know what? I'm trying to be funny. It hurts every time you say it.
Have I started off on the wrong note?
It hurts.
Sorry. Dark Souls Remastered's out. What do you think of it?
It's alright.
Yeah.
Fracturing time!
Fracturing time!
Fracturing time!
Fracturing time!
Fracturing time!
Fracturing time!
I do impersonations of them. I'll be like,
Hi, I'm Paddy and I like tea.
I can do it too. I am CJ and I like coffee.
no, I'll try the other one.
I'm CJ and I like coffee. Oh, that's all right. You try?
Hello, I'm Paddy and I like tea.
Yeah, that works.
Oh, I found it.
Right, let's do this. I stumbled upon a video on YouTube by a gentleman who publishes under the name of The Democracy, and he's got some rumours that are quite detailed. Obviously, take them with a pinch of salt. He said that, and I'm saying it here. But they're quite exciting. I don't know if they're true or not, but it's fun to kind of report them as they go along. So these have come from 4chan, but they are quite detailed, quite interesting, about Shadows Die Twice.
Okay, I've heard of that.
So the first part of this gentleman's video was the leaks, gameplay and world design.
Okay.
The game will be Souls-like in gameplay and atmosphere, but also differentiate by being more open world and not have the clear level to boss design.
All right.
So I don't know. I mean, the easiest thing there is to think of like, it's going Assassin's Creed, but the original Dark Souls was more of a tied-in, consistent world rather than levels that were glued together in the same way as things have been sort of afterwards. The game is more open world than previous titles, but not fully compared to a game like Skyrim. It offers multiple interconnected levels that are much larger with multiple possible paths.
Interesting. I'm trying to think of an analog somewhere. I can't. Sort of like Destiny's maps a bit. They're kind of big and open. You can kind of go through in multiple ways. Do you reckon?
I don't know. I mean, again, you can centre back on Dark Souls and just go, well, all of that was all over the place and tied in. It was very curated. It wasn't like there was a massive map and it was just like, right, we'll put something there and we'll have to have something there and you visit that person there. So it'll be interesting. So most of the game will take place in rural areas, but there will be a big city to explore later in the game.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Interesting. Okay.
If you've got sort of all these sort of really intricate and sort of quite unusual places, and then all of a sudden you've just got like a metropolis at the end, or the equivalent of that. That'd be
cool.
Huge.
There's a bit like that in Stephen King's Dark Tower books when they've been kind of traversing wildlands for ages and ages and ages, and they come across just that giant city.
So this might be hitting a chord with you then.
Ooh.
It will draw inspiration from both Bloodborne and FromSoft's old PS2 IP, Kuon.
Kuon. I've heard. Yeah, I know nothing about Kuon.
Well, apparently, Kuon is a survival horror set in a feudal Japanese mansion at night.
Okay.
And apparently one of the rarest PS2 games. Because it didn't sell well at the time, and I don't think sort of made it beyond Japanese shores. So
their early PS2 stuff was very odd. I bought
no, this was 2004.
Really? Jeez. I'd never even heard of it until people started linking it to the new thing. So, okay.
Some enemy designs and the atmosphere resemble a modern Kuon, but it has nothing to do with the game or will play anything like it.
Interesting.
Enemies will lose their head and limbs in combat, sometimes spawning a parasitic version of themselves.
Like Resi?
Maybe. But I was thinking more like, you know, like you cut a limb off and maybe it kind of, you know, sprouts legs and starts attacking you. And maybe there's like something a little bit like Dead Spacey in there, but like the thing's actually like crawling and like starting to like form versions of themselves from the limbs that are chopped off or something.
Okay. Gross.
That's just my idea. But yeah, cool. There is this is really cool. There is a dynamic weather and day-night system for some areas. At night, when raining, enemies appear in greater numbers and are more difficult. In the late game, sunshine can only be created using an item at holy shrines.
Huh.
Yeah.
Think about Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that. Yeah, I hadn't really.
How have you not made that pull?
No,
have you met you?
I was kind of leaning more into. I mean, my initial thoughts were like Demon Souls, you know, with the world tendencies.
Oh yeah, okay.
But actually, kind of, you know, varying with with weather and stuff. And I presume if that was the case, when it's raining and there are more enemies at night and they're more difficult, there's going to be stuff that's only available at night that's going to be shit hot to get, like weapons-wise, isn't there? There's going to be really cool stuff and like NPCs and all that kind of stuff. But also, if it's saying in the late game, sunshine can only be created using an item at the holy statues, does that mean we've got this massive city's going to be at night?
Ooh.
And I'm just thinking of like the cityscape, almost like when you drawn in the distance, like Drang Lake Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would just be, and loads of like smog and smoke, maybe, or something like that.
Or imagine at the top of Dark and Orlando, and you look down, you see just tons of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You see what I mean? It's quite detailed, this, and obviously it could be utter guff, but it's worth saying now. And I didn't want to put it into the E3 preview stuff because it does relate to Twin Humanities quite a lot. But it's worth sort of having a natter about it. Gameplay is similar to Bloodborne, but more vicious and brutal. It's a bit less wild, but still fast. Kind of like a combination of Neo and Bloodborne.
Okay.
So the gent on the video was saying that maybe it's not quite as frenetic as Bloodborne, but not as defensive as Dark Souls. Maybe that's what he was looking for. Maybe the Neo thing is there's more variation in. I don't know. You know, Neo got like stances and stuff, and there was a little bit kind of more to the combat. Maybe that's what I mean. There's more variation in
the key pulse and the stamina stuff that you could do, and all that stuff that I could not do.
But maybe it's just relating to there's different ways to approach it.
Okay, interesting.
Which is cool. Trick weapons make an appearance, but aren't called trick weapons. Some have 3 forms, others have 2 forms, and there are many weapons that are always two-handed or dual-wielded, as there are no sidearms or shields.
Right, okay. 3 forms is interesting.
That's really neat. The variation's fantastic.
I'm trying to work out what that would mean. Maybe you've got like a double-ended sword pole, and you can break it in the middle and have 2 small sword poles, or you put a chain in the middle and you've got sword nunchuckers.
Or maybe you've got like a spear with blades on either end, and they can fold up and turn into like Wolverine claws, or you can shoot them out like a harpoon and drag people towards you.
Get over here!
It sounds really neat. Anyway, despite there being no shields, you can block and counter with your weapon. Every weapon has a unique counter ability.
Eh? What does that mean?
Maybe there's, instead of, the equivalent of like a a secondary move with the weapon. Maybe you've got the ability to essentially like do a parry with it, or like a defensive mover to kind of knock somebody off guard. So
maybe certain weapons can only parry certain attacks if it's like a unique parry move, like a massive sword. You can, I don't know, maybe like turn sideways in front of you and block projectiles with it because it's big and you stand behind it. Whereas a small rapier can sort of parry sort of smaller weaponry away. I don't know. That's interesting.
It sounds like it would leave a lot open to build variety, which is really cool. The right arm will be replaced by a multifunctional device that serves as a prosthetic, but can also be used as a grappling gun of sorts to reach higher levels and climb throughout the world.
Bionic Commando.
That's what the guy said on the video.
Wow.
He was like, if I can go through this like fucking Spider-Man, this would be great. But yeah, a level of verticality is something that From haven't put into the games before.
True.
But also, if you're going through this world and there's all these rural areas and stuff, and then you get to like the city, and all of a sudden you can climb the spires. And...
Interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of that sounds kind of neat actually. Like you kind of dealt a lot of the Souls and From games deal with a lot of dropping, but up isn't really a direction they tend to go in that often. Like it's usually down. When you're kind of making kind of movement around places, you're kind of dropping down through a level. That's the only way the speedruns work. Like ladders are fine, but they're kind of a grapple hook's fun as long as they don't take any plot hints from Bionic Commando, because I'm not sure I can deal with another game where his wife is an arm.
I don't think so.
It's bad.
There are skills in the game, including different melee moves, passives, and magic. It won't have endless skill trees, and skills won't be big flashy moves, just new moves and abilities.
Right. So, like, say you had a greatsword or something, for the sake of argument, like, you could unlock, I don't know, maybe, like, a big sweeping cleave or a thrusting stab forward attack, rather than...
Yeah, I just think it sounds like there's variation on build if these are true. And if you're looking at somebody and you're thinking, oh, you've got such and such a weapon, I know what that does, you might not necessarily know what it does, because they could have used something unique to them and chosen somewhere on the skill tree to maybe adapt certain moves.
Change their moves to match, like, to their weapons, so they've got a weapon unique to them.
Yeah,
Wasn't that the thing you wanted a really long time ago on the Polygon forums?
I don't know.
I'm sure you put a post up about, imagine if you could customise your weapon skills to be, like, your short sword would be stabbing, whereas someone else's short sword might be... Literally a 5-year-old post, and it's one of the first ones you did that kicked off.
Well done for remembering that, if that's the case.
I'm Captain Remembers.
Well, good. So this next bit is the leak's multiplayer components.
Okay.
There are no proper invasions, but you can enter the world of another player and take control of a monster in their world. The monster is
That's brilliant.
The monster is a random from the level that gets a slight upgrade, only possible in certain areas.
Wow.
So maybe if there are like these rural areas and you know that they're... I mean, they've said that, weather and day and night cycles and all that sort of stuff, but maybe there are certain parts where you'll go in and you realise that if there's these throng of enemies, that somebody amongst them could be a player.
Or that pig could be a player.
Well, it'd be it's a curiosity. It says only possible in certain areas, but again, that's a nice little variation, and it's not just the old monk boss is a player. It might be a crowd of enemies at a certain place, or imagine like a market or something like that that you go to, and you see sort of all these like creatures and people, and one of them could be a regular person.
That reminds me of the Assassin's Creed multiplayer stuff, where the game was to be the most NPC you could be.
Yeah, I know
and
what you
pretend
mean.
to be I'm an AI. I'm an AI. I have stabbed you. I have tricked you with my powers of looking like an artificial intelligence moron. I like that. That's kind of weird.
This is interesting, this next bit. There is no co-op, with the game focusing more on exploration and less on clear-cut level design ending with bosses.
Right. I don't know how to unpack that.
So we'll see.
So maybe the character you use is the character.
I don't know.
Because like Neo, like you are the character.
I think that maybe they've looked at people, summoning folks in to help with areas and stuff, and maybe that's not what they want anymore. They want a more clear, flourishing design, and that if anybody does come into other people's games, it's going to be
man versus game. They want you to come in and be... Yeah, that's kind of different. I mean, that to me, that implies better balance as well, because like the last couple of games have been quite hard, and this implies that it will be at least doable without any help. I think that hints towards there being a player character. I really do think that'll be a person. Why would they include their massive, character creator if you can't show anyone your character?
Well, because it personalises it for you. Mm-hmm. You know that it's... Because I do like a character creator in there. I don't think they'd... there's a great thing in the Souls games and the Bloodborne games where it's like, there's no differential between a female character and a male character. They all play the same. They've all got the same strengths. They've all got. I don't think they'd take away from somebody making it personal.
Okay, how about this? I think maybe if you can create your character yourself, fine. Choose face, hair, and all that. But maybe you have personality, like Saints Row. You've got your boss you make, but they're always the same shit-talking boss, regardless what they look like, and regardless what you make them look like, depending on, wherever you pick. They'll always be the same. They're exactly the same, but it means I can kind of see being more of, player agency in the plot, whereas, in Souls you kind of just wander about and do stuff, and people talk to you occasionally. Yeah. Whereas this time it seems like you might even have, motivations beyond beat the game. And I know that that's simplifying a bit, but it maybe sort of cutscene kind of motivations. A voice.
Well, we'll have to see.
Maybe you'll have a voice.
There are chalice dungeon-like rituals that are optional levels that can be discovered and explored within the game's world. They can be replayed and will change despite a basic design. There are about 10, and there is traditional co-op for these areas.
Hang on a second. I've just. That was the sound of Gary Butterfield dying over there in the corner.
And
Chalices.
Jerry Maguire doing a lap around the world as a beam of light.
As a beam of light.
Do you want me to read it again?
Do it again.
There are chalice dungeon-like rituals that are optional levels that can be discovered and explored within the game's world. They can be replayed and will change despite a basic design. There are about 10, and there is traditional co-op for these areas.
10?
So that's why I think that there will be...
Oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay, I'm with you with the character customization now. Yep, there's a point to it now.
That's interesting.
That is
weird. Kind of like that, yeah.
There's only 10 of them.
So the league's narrative and lore next. This is really good. The game will take place in a dark fantasy world resembling ancient Japan. It will draw heavily from Japanese mythology with a horror twist, though it will include original ideas. The story will be centered around an ancient cult that has been using farmers for their dark rituals for centuries. This cult fears a coming apocalypse, so they sacrifice and experiment on humans at the shrine of blood. Many of the enemies in the world will be the result of these experiments. The narrative will focus on the dichotomy of the cult being evil or knowing a grave truth unbeknownst to those outside the cult. Most of the members have mysteriously vanished, with only a few left alive. You start the game as a heavily maimed and disfigured person at the edge of death. You are saved by a mysterious figure who gives you a new face, allowing for character creation. They also replace your missing arm.
Okay. Oh, this was the magic grappling gun. Of course. Okay, yeah.
Well, I presume the Bionic Commando thing. Like, your grappling arm thing. Shadows Die Twice will appear at E3 with a full-length trailer and some gameplay. So that's all I've got.
Interesting.
And obviously, again, pinch of salt, but I wanted to talk about this because it was quite detailed. There was lots of really neat stuff in there. And that... I kind of like all that to be true because it's good.
Sounds weird. Yeah, it sounds different. I think that's what we need.
Different
I need
again.
Different. Yeah, like something fresh. Like From do good when they do fresh.
Because I'd heard on Resetera that it doesn't play like Bloodborne or Souls, and this kind of ties into that. Obviously, we've mentioned the other rumours that it's Bethesda that have got Shadows Die Twice, which sounds like a good fit to me. But don't know. All up in the air. We'll find out in a week's time. But it was worth having a bit of a natter about this stuff. Could be guff. Could be true. Don't know.
Is E3 only a week away?
More or less.
Oh God!
I kind of. It starts on Saturday night, I think, this week.
Okay.
This time, yeah, it's a week on Saturday.
Oh, I've schoolboyed. I haven't booked any time off this week. This time. Oh no. Maybe I'll look at the rota when I get to work.
But it should, if it is at the Bethesda conference, it should make that a lot more interesting than usual.
Yeah, and that's annoying because the Bethesda one, I believe, in UK time happens around 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can set up just for the possibility it might be there. I think I'll have to catch it in the morning and avoid the shit out of Twitter because when you get there, it'll be like, look at the thing.
We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to mention it because it was after we recorded the show that I saw this and I was like, okay.
I like it. Interested.
Fracturing time.
Oh, fracturing time.
Fracturing time.
Fracturing time.
You see, more professional shows would have had that truncate silence thing where they'd just be like straight back in. But
no, we leave that dead air so you can feel it. Feel the awkwardness. Enjoy it.
There was no awkwardness.
Taste it.
Comedy pause.
Comedy poison.
Come on, I need more. I know you've written down loads. 19
words.
Really? Come on then.
It's a lie.
Yeah, I was going to say. Come on then. What do you think of it?
I like it. I as far as the actual game goes, right? It's Dark Souls 1. What can you say about the game we haven't already said over the course of 73 episodes?
You have already been kind of deeply sort of submerged in it for the last God knows how long when you've been doing your One Bro Prime run.
This is it. Yeah, like it's not for me. It's not the super crazy fresh return a lot of people have because people threw their PS3s away when they got PS4s. I don't understand people that do that.
Well, some people are. I mean, to be fair,
some people trade in for it.
Trade in for it. Yeah, I got rid of like loads of games when I was trying to get an Xbox One, a PS4.
No, I don't sell nothing, mate.
Yeah, but you've got one of those huge collections. Also, you've got a house, a wife, and you're financially viable. Whereas for some of the rest of us, like doing this sort of thing, are going like, we're going on sort of game websites and going like, right, I could get £5.80 for that one. That one is £7.30, and that's the way that I got those consoles.
Don't you collection shame me?
What? Sitting when I had there no like money, Scrooge McDuck in your bath of gold.
Even my bath of discs. Even when I was like a poor person and was making no money, I can't sell games. The only times I've ever sold games, I've bought them back within a couple of months because I missed them. But I did that with Final Fantasy X. I was like, oh, I do like that game. No, and ended up going and buying it literally the next day again.
But I always think that if there's been something that's hanging around that I'm not playing or I haven't clicked with or not really that arsed with, obviously there'll be stuff that I keep, which is like all-time super favourites. But the other stuff I'll just think, well, if I fancy playing it again, it'll be cheaper.
Will it, though?
Yes.
What kind of game is it?
Yeah.
It might be something rare.
It usually is.
Yeah. I want to play a weird, obscure game that I'm never going to see ever again.
I mean, generally, kind of that's what does happen. So, yeah, I'm fine with that. Also, it's been quite nice with the Xbox One sort of backwards compatibility stuff because there's lots of things that I haven't played before that have come to that. They've gone, oh look, that's £1.50 in CEX. Fair enough. So, see, I've got an Xbox plug-in already.
back on. There you go. That was quite. I think the quickest one yet. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, I popped open Remaster because I mean we covered this on the last episode. We talked about the beta, didn't we? We did that. Did we talk about that? Yeah, we did. We kind of tickled it, and then went into something else.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed the first couple of days, like, of Remaster a lot. Just like the amount of summoning going on was ridiculous. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah. Like,
you'd walk out of the bonfire in the middle of the burg, and there would be a carpet of gold on the floor. Like, which one of these fancy tire paving stones do I want to pick? I'll pick that one, and I'll pick that one.
But when you are being summoned, it's really fast. So you were like, well, how did someone pick me out of that carpet?
How many signs is that carpet going to? I mean, there's particularly the burg, the parish, and what's after the parish? Undead Burg. I think the depths a little bit as well. They were popping the first couple of days. Like, you were getting summoned in 2 seconds.
Don't you think, though, that I mean, those summons must be going pretty quickly if people are still picking up, summons within seconds afterwards?
I mean, yeah. I definitely got a few, like, summoning fails, because obviously it's going so quick. If you've seen it on the ground for more than 10 seconds, it's probably already been taken. I think that is easing off now, because I've been playing a bit today and popped my sign down for a while and was getting a couple of hits, but not that many really. And again, sort of looking for signs. Then again, this is on a soul level 1 character, so you're not going to see that much on there. But yeah, I wasn't getting as many summons as I was expecting, shall we say. Like, I was expecting to be picked in more, and usually you can go to the burg and throw your sign down and be summoned there all day. But I popped it down, and I got maybe in half an hour, I had maybe 2. Because I was trying to get some quick souls up to level up my pyromancy glove.
Why are you doing a soul level 1 run again?
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? I've got 3 runs going on Remaster at the moment. This is as good a time as any to get into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 3 runs going at the moment. My first run, which was going to be like my fun, silly run, I decided to do as what I call the Ultimate Bandit. So what I've done is I picked one of the classes, the Bandit in this case, from the main menu. I thought, right, I'm going to use that gear for the whole game. So the armor set, the weapons, that's what I'm going to pick. That's what I'm going to use for the entire game. Just level those up, maybe some items, but, nothing else. So I thought that could be a fun way of mixing things up a little bit, a new challenge almost. So started doing that, and I had some fun with it, and realised that even though I've just done a 1-bro, I'm not actually that very good at the video game.
What?
Well, between me and I think Jeremy started this game of like, hey, look how good I am, running out of the burg door and falling off of a bridge. I proceeded to then fall off a bridge as well. I think once you start making mistakes, I think it's then funny to share them. So I was, sharing them up, sharing odd little cock-ups here and there, which I genuinely would laugh every single time. Like, I'm not the kind of person that goes, oh, no, that's bullshit if a rock rolls me over 3 times. Like, it's funny to me. It's amusing. So I was doing that and, chucking around. And I've got to... That guy's got to Anor Londo pretty quickly. Like, 6 hours maybe total. Like, really banged through. I got there quite quick. So that was kind of fun. I kind of left it off there. And I was going to go back. And then our friend Ellie, good friend Ellie, is playing the game for the first... Ellie Rhodes. Playing the game for the first time. It hasn't played Dark Souls 1 before. Seen bits of it, but never actually played it. Or played a little bit and, decided it wasn't for her. But since she's played Bloodborne, she's like, oh, we'll play some. So me and you, I think it was me and you, yeah, we're like, yeah, we'll be your, I guess, stalwart companions. We're not going to go beat the game for you. We'll walk behind you and help. So I made a new character for that as well, because, this bandit character was off being level 40, 50 odd, By the way, after doing a 1-bro, so nice to be able to level up your health again. That health bar's enormous on that character.
But do you find yourself getting a little bit sort of loose and a little bit cocky?
Very. Oh, very. Yeah, like, I can take a few hits, it's fine. I end up drinking more Estus than I did on my level 1 run, no question. But yeah, I made a new character again. I decided to do, as a surprise, to remake my Dungeons and Dragons character. Give the listeners a little clairvoyance into what you've had in your mind for your Dungeons and Dragons character. So, we've been playing Dungeons and Dragons with Ellie and with her husband Steve, who's been DMing, which has been really good. You remember Steve from the episode we did about writing, probably about 10 episodes back at this point?
Yeah, we did Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Witcher 3.
That was it. Yeah.
And,
He was part of Witcher 3.
Your career, including Lego City Undercovered, which is great. And I have, as a little aside, I started, what's it called? Homefront: The Revolution, because it was on Game Pass. And it's supposed to be like quite sparkly for Xbox One X, so I thought I'd give it a go. Quite enjoying it so far. It's been good.
You will find any excuse to talk about backwards compatibility, won't you?
No, it's not backwards compatibility. It's one that they've tickled up for Xbox One X, but it
was that this gen game, really?
Yeah, it's this gen.
PS3?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's why I thought it was last gen.
But
anyway, we've been playing D&D, and my character, I'm playing an elven monk, whose name is Lorcan, and he is a copper-skinned monk who lives in the woods, and he uses a big stick and he kicks things with his leg. That's his whole guy. He smashes things with a stick and he kicks it with his leg. So I thought I'll remake him, so when Ellie looks for a sign, she'll know that it's me. As a thing. But then we had some issues with password matching, didn't we? So
with spelling, presumably, because and listening, because you couldn't spell something and you couldn't listen. We had the password of Squish, SQUISH. Ellie, bang, straight on it. You, how do you spell that? Read it out to you. Spelled it wrong.
Right, here's the thing though, because I did right. How are we spelling squish? Like, because I think sometimes you can spell it with a W, like SKW, squish.
What?
Sometimes.
Nobody does that.
And you said on the word SQISH, and I went SQISH, 5 letters, and you said yes.
People that don't speak weird like you do.
Listening failure.
Portsmouth.
Listening failure.
Don't speak Portsmouth.
Yeah, proper Pompey, mate. Gaze. So eventually we got on together and we ran out and had fun with that. And that kind of character, again, I didn't want to level up too hard on that one because with the new weapon matchmaking thing, I didn't want to kind of push too far and then not be able to get summoned in. Because what I like to do is get to the parish and get my shit to level 5, or my weapons at least to level 5, like ASAP. So I'll hang out there for a while, do some summoning, and then spend all of those souls on just buying Titanite shards and leveling up my shit. Because why wouldn't you want to be stronger? But now so now with this weapon matchmaking thing, it's like, what do I do now? How far can I push? And I've been reading up on it, and we'll come back to it later if you want, but it's complicated.
No, you can go into it now.
All right. So it seems to be that it's not just soul level now. Soul level still exists, so you've got like an up and down, I think 10 levels plus 10% of your level up and down and what you can summon or invade, give or take. But I've also been going on, I think I've been using the Fextra Life guide to kind of explore and work out what the hell's going on about like summoning levels. So if you're the same level as someone, for example, you're both soul level 1, but you've got different gear on you, if you've got certain amounts of gear, you can't summon the other player in. So for example, what it lists here is a list of tests I've got. So player A with a +0 or like no upgrade weapon, it's like a bog standard sword, can summon player B if player B has up to a +4 weapon. Some are saying +5, but it's around a +4 or +5. So if you've gone to large Titanite shards, you can't get summoned by level, people who haven't upgraded their weapon yet. And that goes up sort of one by one. So if player A then has a +1 weapon, player B then goes up to +5 or +6, and up to, I think, 11 to 15, I think it is where it cuts off. And different weapons, that's not just standard weapons. So you've got unique weapons that are involved as well. So like your demon, your twinkling, your dragon scale kind of weapons, like your drake swords, for instance, or like your lightning spear that you pick up in Sen's Fortress, for instance. If you pick one of those up, a bog standard +0 unique weapon is equal to a +5 normal weapon. And it'll add another +2 to the list every time you go up. So the numbers start getting really confusing here. So like a +5 weapon normal is equivalent to a 0 weapon in special. So again, if you even pick up a drake sword, you shouldn't be able to summon to new people who haven't upgraded yet.
I wonder why.
Which is weird because I'm seeing a lot of people with drake swords in the Berg, so I don't know if those numbers are quite right.
I did my usual thing whereby in this case, I did the dragon skip. So I went to New Londo Ruins, used the master key into Valley of the Drakes, up into the back of Dark Root, got the grass crest shield, sort of made my way across to the Berg via the back way. I'd twatted a lot of things on the way, so I managed to get up to +5 club within no time, and just camped in the Berg and just got loads of souls. You know what I do? I just sit there and help people, and then I presume I'd just figure out what kind of build I wanted a little bit further down the line. But on the one hand, I had no problems being summoned by folks who were clearly starting the game. So my +5 club didn't seem to be an issue there. Obviously, I started off as deprived, so I was soul level 6, is it? Mm-hmm. So I was doing all right on that. But I did see like people with some of the pinwheel masks and some of the other game stuff sort of in the Berg, with some like scythes and things like that. And I was just thinking, really? I wondered
scythe, you can pick up that really early. Like, you can rush pinwheel can be your first boss if you really dash it. I've seen some guides actually of, like, how to get to pinwheel. You can get there in a minute and a half from the start of the game. You can just go. And it's not, pinwheel's not even that hard of a boss really, so
unless you zero Lenny.
Yeah, well.
I am the only person to die to pinwheel. Fuck my life.
So there's also shields also work for this as well. So if you've got a shield at +3 or +4, then you can only summon people with +5, I think, or something like that. And it's about memory as well. So it's not just like, have you got it equipped? It's, have you ever held it in your life ever? So the one I was doing a bit of research on this before. So someone was saying, like, oh, I'm kind of hanging around Sen's Fortress and I've got myself like a +13 lightning axe or something like that. And I'm getting tons and tons and tons of invasions in the Berg. The Sen's Fortress. Like, literally every second I'm getting another invasion. And the theory is that people have picked up that lightning spear inside the Mimic, which is a +10 weapon, which opens them up to everyone up to a +15 weapon.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the way I saw it was, it's a double trap. But first the Mimic turns up to chomp your face off, and then you pick up basically a door to let in the PvP people.
What do you make of this change?
I don't know. I like that it's going to balance the early areas, because again, when I was playing before, like, you'd see people coming in with ridiculous shit, like at the start, like running up and hitting the Taurus demon with like one hit, and that was it. See, that's too much to me. That's too much help.
Now, you see, my issue with this, and I kind of I had some back and forth with it on Twitter, is that if you're a summon into somebody's game, I think there's an unwritten etiquette whereby you let the player lead. So you let them discover and, point out a few things if they've not opened a door, or if there's a chest nearby, or
there's a gesture for that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. and kind of just let them discover. And obviously you can play a little bit of Black Knight tennis with one of the other summons if they're a little bit scared. If they open the door to Havel, obviously it's free reign. But I think that level of discovery should be the players. And I've seen people who clearly haven't gone through the Berg yet. So none of the chests have been opened, Black Knight's still there, all that kind of stuff. And they've summoned people in, and the summons have just torn off into the distance. And I'm just sort of catching up behind the player, and all you're seeing is like dead bodies everywhere and souls swooping in. On the one hand, what is the player learning from that? What are these people doing on the other hand?
If they're that strong, why are they hanging out in the easiest place in the game?
Obviously they might be doing that soul collecting thing like I am, but if they are doing it for more altruistic reasons, you're not really helping people out by killing everything in front of them. And also, they've got no say in it. And something that we didn't mention on the last show, which is a change I really don't like, is there was a certain nuance to the original whereby if you had brought in a summon, your Estus looked after the summon as well, and they had no say in that. It was just like, I mean, if we were on Skype and something and we were playing and we're just like, oh, I need a top up. But if you were
drink please.
If you're going in like blind to somebody's game, you'd be sort of like, come on, look at my health bar, come on, drink. Oh, I've only got a little bit, like, drink. Look at me,
you fool.
Look at me. But I don't like that that's been swapped out for just either 2 or 5 Estus as
I'm conflicted on this. I'm conflicted.
Don't like it, mate. I really don't.
On the one hand, right, as the host, assuming you're having problems with the boss and you've brought someone in to help you, assuming you're the host, you want to be focusing on the boss. You don't want to be looking at another health bar. So on the one hand, it takes something away from the host, who's the player that would be struggling the most in the summon scenario. Like, they're bringing the help because they want a hand. Whereas the helper is, assumed to be at least competent enough to come and help. That's otherwise why would they put the sign down? Like, they're putting the sign down to assist.
Not necessarily.
Or to practice, I suppose. But
somebody might be learning a boss. Somebody just might want to have a pop at it. It's just
true. But I would say most signs you see down are people who at least have a rough idea what they're doing. They might not be the strongest, but they at least know, like, I'm here to beat this boss. I think I know how this works. I'm here to help. So on the one hand, you've got player who's the one who needs the assistance, then hasn't got to watch a second health bar, which I like. I kind of like that. But on the other side, it takes the pressure away from the summon to stay with the host, because they can control their own health now. So like you were saying in the Berg, they can tear off. In the old version, they would tear off, and if they got into trouble, you wouldn't know until you saw the message that they died. Because they've run away and they've been stupid. If you stay together, you can see each other's health bar easier, and you'll know when to chug and to help people. And it's more of a, like, I'm going to heal the team now, rather than, oh, Johnny's run off. Oh, and he's dead.
It actually makes it feel more cooperative for me, because as the host, it's not just you bringing people in to, like, smunch stuff for you. You've actually got a level of responsibility. Plus, I think that aspect is unique to the first Dark Souls.
They never did it again, did they?
No. And Dark Souls 2 had its own thing with regards to, like, life gems and Estus, which I absolutely adore anyway. But I don't know. We would when we were having a chat about, do we want, like, a Scholar of the First Sin type remix on Dark Souls, or do we want it as is? And it was like, no, it's fine, leave it as it is. I don't understand why this was then changed, or people think that it would be better, because I
can see what they've tried to do. And the fact that you get way less Estus is better. Like, it's only like 2 if you've not kindled and 5 if you've kindled, I think. Which is fine. Like, that's encourage you to still play safe. But yeah, if you've got someone who knows what they're doing, they're not going to need any Estus, are they? Like, they're going to just whiz through and parry everything and be absolutely fine. Which is, what you see, they run through with their, you summon in, you see someone with a giant sword the size of a person, and off they go. And, the level's done. When did that happen? Yeah, it takes away some of the co-opness, but I suppose with the weapon matchmaking, you're kind of getting players who are at a similar sort of equip level to you. Like, you're not going to get that plus 15 crazy person turning up on a soul level 1, just started the game summon. It won't work, will it? It's a strange one. Like I say, I agree. I don't like it, but I'm conflicted about it because I can see what they've tried to do. I'm not sure about it though, but it's fun. When people are playing together as well, like I suppose I've been quite lucky in that respect, because when I've been on, I've not actually seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of people, sticking with the host and helping them out and pointing things. And again, there's been a lot of pointing and hurrah and the shrug animation going on when things go a bit weird. I was having some fun today with my soul level 1 character hanging around the Taurus Demon area because I was trying to level up my Pyro Glove. So I was getting summoned in with a couple of people, and we'd all got to the top of the ladder, so the Taurus Demon would run over, so I'd point at the first guy, and they'd jump off and do a drop attack, then I'd point at the second guy, and they'd go do their drop attack, and then I'd do my one. So rather than all three of us jump off at once, we could take turns and do that. And everyone got it really quickly as well. Like, everyone I did that with understood what that meant. Like, you jump, and now you jump.
What do you think of the increased amount of people in the being able to be summoned?
I've encountered it once so far, and that was today,
Really?
and the last one I did before I turned it off. I've only seen a team of 4 one time, and we fucking steamrolled it.
No
Didn't
way.
even blink.
'Cause I'd say 90 plus percent of the time that I've played, it's been that amount.
Wow. Maybe it's because I've been upgrading my weapons a bit and people can't see me because I've got +5 weapons. You know, I hang out in the bird with the +5.
Got +5 weapons.
But like, whenever I get summoned in, it's either I'm the only summon or there's only 2 of us. I've only seen a full team one time, and that guy, like the one that I didn't see, I thought, oh, it was a team of 3 of us, and then it was like a dragon guy in the Dragon Covenant that had the full dragon mask on already. It's like, how does that work? It's weird.
Yeah, I think there's almost that degree of, if somebody is doing that little wander around the sort of slight courtyard outside of the Undead Berg bonfire, they can bring in 4 people, like, you know, the maximum amount of people really quickly. Whereas it then cuts to us like sitting in armchairs, just going like, "Let me tell you about back in my day. Hoping to see your friends. You don't know it was there. You don't know if it's still alive. Swapping out weapons and shields to weapons and bows and shields. But did I mention weapons?
We swapped them many times.
Many times.
I think I know. I think I've worked out what the weapon matchmaking's for. Because I've realised, we're talking about, you know, summoning and helping. I think I haven't seen... I've seen 1 invader. In the entire time I've been playing so far, I've seen 1 invader.
Was that
Do you
somebody we
think-
played with Natalie?
Maybe, yeah. Or was it me and you? No, I saw 1 invader, definitely. It was 1 person. I'm thinking... Okay, so go with me on this. So using the weapon matchmaking, assuming once you've touched a weapon that's +10, you're there. Like, that's the level you're on then forever. By the time someone has gone to the trouble of going down to, like, the 4 Kings to join the Dark Wraith Covenant to get the invasion item, the likelihood that they have a weapon that's more than +5 is almost certain, right? Unless they're intentionally not upgrading, but that makes that run very difficult. Which means that the guys with the orb that lets you invade forever won't be able to stand in the Berg all day, smashing that summon button, or that invade button, and just ruining newbies' days like you used to, because you'd go through the Berg, you know, especially when the game was still fresh and new and stuff, you'd go through the Berg and you'd get flattened. You know, whenever you start a new character, I get, you know, 9 times out of 10, you'd get invaded in the Berg at least once.
But what do we think of that again? Because they're tinkering around with the magic a little bit.
I like that it's not... The problem is when you get people invading in the Berg, they're never invading on a level playing field. It's like, hello, I'm God. You are a tiny rat person, and I have smushed you. Enjoy. And, like, you don't even have a chance a lot of the time. Like, it's just like, nah, you've been invaded. Well, this run's dead then. That's fine. I think that by limiting it, I think it's giving at least a semblance of a fair fight. A fight you could probably even think you might be able to win.
But you were saying when we had that discussion about changes to Dark Souls, you were like, no, leave it as it is. And I would have liked to have seen more wholesale changes, but I was like, yeah, okay then. But this again is sticking about with it.
Well, I think maybe we've done our usual. We flopped then because I think I quite like being able to go through the Berg and not worry about.
Contrary.
I'm just a contrarian. Like, I think I like being able to go through the Berg and not worried that Satan's going to turn up to ruin my day.
You are, yeah, but if you're hollow anyway, don't matter.
True, but you know, it's nice playing with friends. You know,
Yeah, but
and I've been human for a lot of my.
There's that little little sort of tickle electricity of danger when you do go human.
But like I've been human for most of my games so far, actually, on all 3 characters I've got, and it's been fine. Like I haven't really been invaded at all. It's been great. Yeah, I've just been able to enjoy the game. And so the one time I was invaded, it was when I was in a group with another 2 people, and it was easy. You know, we were like, no, we got this guy, and he wasn't obviously that strong. I think he might have been using a crack door because he didn't seem to have too much stuff on him. Like it wasn't, you know, like I say, Satan with a giant glowing golden sword turning up to ruin everyone's day. Like I haven't seen a single giant dad. You know, I've not seen anything really. It's been just pleasant time. And then it's meant that the focus in the early game, at least, has been on the game. You know, getting good at the game. And I think for a new player, I think it's better to not get that fuck you invasion in the first level, because I mean, I've heard loads of stories about people that say, oh, I was playing this game and then someone else turned up and they killed me in one hit, and then it happened again, and it happened again, and I stopped playing the game. By taking that away, you let people get their hooks in. No, let me finish. You get people get their hooks in, and then you get to sort of level 3, level 4, you know, like you get to sort of like the depths, for example, or you get to sends, and then the invasions start, and by then the hooks are in, and you're more inclined to push ahead. It's like, than if you were getting... It's like if the game was crashing in the first level. You wouldn't put up with it, would you?
It's the game. It's the way that it's always been. It's like the equivalent of saying, well, loads of people get to Ornstein and Smo and stop. It'd be like, what if that fight was a little bit easier? What if, because there were lots of players that would just put the game, they'll never see the end game, never see it. What if the fat lad was a bit thinner? What if the lion was a dog?
Well, if people have got to Ornstein and Smo and give up there, they're just quitters.
Yeah, but people did that with the original game. So where do you draw the line?
They're quitters. No, I think we flip-flopped. I honestly think I flopped. I quite like these changes. Now I'm thinking about them, and now I'm like actually thinking, you know, this is to make that early game experience just a better introduction to the game without that fear of... Particularly for new players. I mean, as an experienced player, like, you know what's going to happen. It's fine. Like, you'll get invaded. It's fine. It's not going to stop you playing the game. Like, I think anyone that's played Dark Souls before, you get invaded in the Berg. It's like, all right, fine. We'll see what happens. But I'm assuming I'm going to die at this point because I'm a tiny baby character. I generally don't enjoy. You see a lot of people. I mean, already on YouTube, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of like trolling in the Berg of people obviously, you know, trapping newbies and knocking them off, being like, I'm so clever. I'm going to do the same trick 17 times in a row. It's boring.
Yeah, but to quote from a better podcast than ours, Bonfireside Chat, it's okay to be the bad guy. That's a mechanic in the game.
Does that make us Bonfireside crap?
No, it makes you.
Aww.
Right, I tell you what, because we have flip-flopped, and to put you in your place, I am going to read you the back of the box.
Don't.
Then there was fire. Delve into an epic fantasy universe stricken by decline and the curse, and re-experience the critically acclaimed, genre-defining game that started it all. Beautifully remastered, Return to Lordran in stunning high-definition detail includes the main game plus the Artorias of the Abyss DLC. Settling. A deep action RPG experience. The origins of a legendary gaming reference. Sharpened for the latest generation of consoles.
Oh.
You deserve that.
Why did they write it like that?
I didn't. I presume somebody said it at the pub. Maybe they were on that. Was it Ambien? Spinning the news. Just like, oh, let's go to the pub. Just take some Ambien. I don't know.
Why would you type that and think? How many people have read that and gone? That sounds fine.
Right, I'm gonna.
Is this Bamco? And think again. The game that started it all, wasn't that Demon's Souls?
Yeah.
It's like, have they forgotten?
Yeah, clearly they had. Although they did publish it in Europe, didn't they?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna house rule that the box art and the box quote was done by Bambo Bum guy.
Right, I'll state this now for you. And you were saying like, I can't believe they've done that. You state that, and I will raise you those T-shirts. I will raise you the Hot Wings challenge, but I especially raise you those T-shirts.
Those T-shirts were just... They weren't even right.
Nope.
Some of the quotes on them were wrong.
Doesn't matter.
Oh.
Everybody loves
They're
Dark
not
Souls
good at
t-shirts.
marketing, are they? They should have had a home run with that. That marketing on this should be a fucking home run. Do you want hot wings? There are, didn't they?
We can't say anything. They don't really know we exist.
It's fine. We can say whatever we want.
Sunlight Blade, 500,000 subscribers. Here you go. Have a gold praise the sun thing that normally costs 50 quid. That's lovely. It's when humanity's apathy.
But you're nothing.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving.
That's all right. We make our own fame.
Yeah, we do. Right, so let me see. I think it looks crisp as fuck. Looks really pretty. Unless you get too close to the characters. This is one thing I don't quite understand. Like, you get up too close to the characters and you've got the kind of face from 360 and PS3. But then you look down to the chest. There's a million 4K hairs.
Aren't they pretty?
And lovely nipples and a nice chest.
I think the faces are like they look smushier than the rest, don't they? Like they don't look like they've just upgraded the pixels, but not the polygons, but not the textures.
It's a bit. It looks great from a distance, but when you do that camera angle to maybe try and take a picture and stuff, because if you try that sort of stuff in Dark Souls 2, it looks hella pretty. But I am biased in that regard.
Unless you're my character in Dark Souls 2, whose cheeks are thinner than his mouth.
Yeah, you have got some sort of Mr. Punchinello bum face.
Ultimate duck face.
Yeah, it's a strange one. His lips are a bum hole. Yeah, like I say, it's been nice to wander back through it and remember my first playthrough more than anything. Like stuff that I'd forgotten, little nuances. I think there were some wobbles along the way. Noticeably, the lighting seems to be doing its own thing from scene to scene, level to level. But that's being a bit nitpicky. I'm being a bit of a Debbie Downer on this one. I don't know why. Because I do like it. I proper like it.
I'll tell you that the lighting always did do its own thing. I just don't think we realised it. Like, there's that bit when you walk into Blighttown from the back way, and the sort of the entire colour just goes blarb and goes blue, and you walk back out and it goes blarb and goes yellow.
But again, they've monkeyed about with the lighting engine anyway, so you've now got reactive lighting that's coming off the torches and stuff, but you've still got blarb.
It's very odd.
So
but I didn't know how to blend it. It's like, and we're in the dark bit now. Blurb.
And I don't know if we'll see patches on this. I don't mean that in a kind of...
You find him in the catacombs.
there's a character called Patches. Thanks for spoiling the joke. So I'm having fun. It's nice seeing so many friends on it. Some for the first time, which like our Ellie. And there are, as you said, lots of summon signs on the floor. A lad at the work's playing it for the first time, and he sent me a message saying how he didn't think it was as good as Dark Souls 3. So I, sensitive to this, called him a casual, and when our shift's next to the line, I threw him a teabag and then sang the theme to the British medical drama Casualty. Yeah. So do 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 do. I've of course shamed him into carrying on playing, and he's now enjoying himself, which once again underlines that I am the better friend. Take your medicine, the world. It's time for a healing. Umbasa.
Yeah.
E3 2018.
Casuals one and all, come to me.
Yeah. So we had fun with Ellie on Sunday.
We did have fun.
But I remember when I first knew Ellie. I was sort of like, I'd nerd out about my love of Dark Souls, and she'd be like, nope, tried it, nope, and I was all like, but you like Zelda, and lots of the fan base of Zelda really like it, and she was like, shut down similarly. People have different tastes and all that, but in retrospect, I can only imagine that it wasn't time, it wasn't mood, it wasn't the moment, but I'm the better friend. So yeah, we boinged back up. I'd like to think we let Ellie lead and let her find stuff out and gasp and all that kind of gubbins. Like I say, my character, I think when Ellie, after you left and at least started leveling up. Obviously, the pressure was on for me to like delve into like the 70,000 souls that I built up.
Yeah,
just twonking about in the Berg, and I think I'm going to go proper Sombro on it. So I'm going to lean into Faith when I'm going to get it, and I've got a few of the bits at this because I've leveled up quite a bit in the Sunlight Covenant anyway. And isn't it nice to have the Sunlight Covenant not just around the corner from the end of the game?
Yeah, it's nice to have it at the start where it needs to be.
Yeah, or at least near to the start, like it is in Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, it's about a quarter of the way in that game. That's fine.
Now you see, weapon-wise, I'm comfortable with the club, but I'm too comfortable with the club. And like our Scholar playthrough, I kind of want to have a pop at something else. So you mentioned the Boulder Swag sword. Around about the same time as I actually got one. But it still doesn't feel quite right. Maybe the Sunlight Blade, given I'm going for the Sombro run, but I don't know. What do you reckon?
I mean, we could try to do a new run.
What are you twatting with? Are you still bollocking about with the club?
Okay, so on my 3 different runs, right? My bandit run, I'm using the bandit axe that comes with it, which is, to be honest, it handles a bit like the club anyway. It's not quite as spunky, but it's okay. It's all right. I've been two-handing it. It's got this lovely, if you roll forwards, it has this kind of overhand sort of deadly vertical chop, which is quite fun. But it's quite hard to make that hit anything. So I'm using that. With Lorcan, my spear guy, I'm using, guess what? A spear.
Wow.
Which is okay, and I've never really used a spear in Dark Souls 1 before. I used it a lot in Demons, but I never really bothered with spears since.
I did it a lot in Demons, and I'm pretty sure like my initial Dark Souls run was quite like that as well.
So I've gone spear. I bought a pike, which is 20-something strength to wield. It's like just a longer spear. So I'll get that, and I'll upgrade towards that.
What's the R2, though? The R2's a bit shit with the pike, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not strong enough to wield it, so I don't know what it's like. It just kind of does that kind of weak,
Yeah, I'm sure it's like a sweep or like an overhead chop or something, but it's a bit chocolate teapot.
But via a trip down to the back of Darkroot to get the Grass Crest shield, the Black Knight dropped his halberd. So I'm thinking, well, that's spearish, isn't it? I'm going to work up to that instead, and that stays roughly in the theme.
It's also a bit of a beast. I'm sure you played one of our runs with that, didn't you?
I did. No, runs. I did a two-handed Black Knight sword run before. That was fun.
No, I'm sure you using.
I've never used the halberd. No, never used the halberds.
Okay, that makes sense.
Not in Dark Souls 1 at least. Anyway, I may have dicked around in number 2 with them maybe, but I definitely haven't done it in Dark Souls 1. So I'm going to work up towards the halberd because it's dropped now. So might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in my one bro, I've started again. I've just remade Dusty Patrick's again. I've gone back to the club because it feels nice, and it's just nice doing that run again. And because I'm better at it now, because I've done that, I am pretty fair smashing through it as well. Like I'm not having to hang around too much. I'm sort of every now and again I'm going to stop and do some grinding to get my stuff up, to the next gear level. But generally, I am battering through with it now, and I've just got my Pyromancy glove upgraded to about a plus 12 now.
Cool.
So stuff is melting. Didn't
I see you having a chat with Gary Butterfield and doing a magic run?
Yeah. It's the one run I think I've never done in one of these games. I've never done that. I mean, I've done a bit of Faith in the past, but I've never really touched sorcery at all. And the temptation to go to do a sorcery run is like, maybe I could. And that would be my 4th character on this that I would have started. So, I mean, maybe I need to actually finish one of them first before I do another one. But I'd like to do sorcery run because, like I say, it's a complete unknown factor for me. I don't know how the sorcery itself works. I don't know where the good spells are. I don't know what the quest line is to get Logan. Like, I've never really bothered with that because I'm always I prefer the sort of the melee side of things. I always think of Dark Souls as a melee game, not a magic game. You see people running around doing spells like no, that's not the game. You hold the shield and you dodge and you hit them with the stick. But I know there's loads of ways to play it. It's never been my way. Like my way is more about sticks.
That's become like the norm with the dex and strength stuff. But I mean, I just saw the start of this game like people doing whatever build they wanted. There was loads of different types of builds, and then all of a sudden there was, some sort of magic slut shaming started kicking in. Everybody still loved the Pyromancy Club, and then Even From seemed to get on that train sort of.
Sorcery-y shit. And
yeah.
Yeah, it just got worse and worse. But I'd like to do it. Like, I'd like to have a go at it in... Gary was saying, it's like, it's easy mode unlock.
Yeah, I did it on... I did run like that on 360, and I was going through it with our friend Sean. And that was a lot of fun. I remember back then just sort of standing a little way away from some of the bosses and just being like, pew, pew. And I think my instinct on that one then became the way that I react with bows and arrows. I think that's where I kind of got into being accepted by my peers. Don't use the stick and shoot from a distance. But what if the stick is in this and I fire the stick from a distance? That's fine.
You're going to be using the Dragon Slayer bow within long, aren't you?
I have no idea.
The big
one. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's a beast.
I'm actually going to fire a tree at you.
That might be quite good fun, especially if you're twatting about with a halberd. Like you're running in going, oh, and I'm just taking about a week to draw a bow back.
And firing halberds in from a distance.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Got
and like, I think we settled quite quick back again into our classic setup of you stand over there and shoot things while I'll stand right in front of his face and smack it with a big stick.
I think we'll go into that a little bit later on because it's paid off in our other game as well, more than this one.
Salt and Sanctuary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go straight into the fact that Paddy's gone viral.
I've done a viral.
Let's find out about it.
This is the checkup. We mentioned earlier, actually, the thing in question. So when I was playing with my bandit character, divvying around in Sens, I had a couple of stupid deaths as I was running around, and they were, again, funny. And I had what I thought was a good one, where I was trying to hop through Sens quickly and get downstairs. So I kind of hopped off the ledge where the boulder comes down, that first boulder that can screw you up inside. So I jump off the ledge. I land a bit funny. I didn't land quite where I wanted to. Snake Man shot me with lightning, which knocks me off the ledge. I land on the floor. The boulder then runs me over, which pushes my character off the side of the ledge and down to the next bit. And the boulder then turns the corner at the end of the roll and then runs me over a second time, which kills me. And I wish I'd been recording the audio, is my one regret. It's because I was cackling like a dick the entire time. I was like, oh, I know what's coming. Like, it was really, really funny. And I thought, well, I've got to put that up because, again, I think with Jeremy, it's been one of those kind of like trying to one up each other with like, what's the dumbest way you've died so far? We're ostensibly, we're supposed to be good at the game by now. Like, all of us are supposed to be pretty good at the game. And if stuff like that can still happen, it's like, well, look how bad I am at the game. And then it just started going nuts. Like, and for me, nuts is like every sort of couple of minutes is like another notification, like, oh, another retweet, oh, another like, another retweet, oh, another like. That thing got to like 120 or 130 retweets, I think, by the end.
Wow.
Let me bring it up. I can give you the number. Hang on, I'll give you the number. I'll just look to my notifications tab and it'll be very, very close. There we go. It ended up, as of today, the 31st of March at 8 o'clock. Whoops, something went wrong. There we go. 114 retweets and 282 likes. Which is ridiculous for me. It's absolutely... That's more than I get in a month.
Now, you see,
Total.
the only time I've gotten anywhere near that is when I posted up a picture of my original Transformers the movie video cassette. But since then, and completely by accident, I got you beat.
What?
The other morning...
How?
The other morning, when I got up, you know when you see somebody's like something and you go like, oh yeah, I've got something to say on that. I responded to a tweet that said, it said, let me know if you're under 50 and own a sewing box.
Right.
So yeah, I go on, I basically say, like, I've been berated by a few folks at work for having a sewing box. It's an old quality street tin, just like I grew up with. I'm no genius, but I can mend torn shirts, fix buttons, etc. Recently I was in work and I'd mentioned I'd repaired a neck and a shoulder on a t-shirt, and one rather well-to-do customer just sort of stated if something like that had happened, she'd have thrown it out. and I presume that's the norm now. And I said, like, a few years back I had a favourite tee, and I was mortified when it caught a mark at the bottom, and I found like this embroidered patch that sort of tied in thematically, and just sort of ironed that onto the bottom, and it looked better and stuff. So just a few things. Do you know how far that reached?
Go for it.
762 likes.
What?
My phone was going bonkers. I couldn't keep in touch with like the people that I'd normally talk to, because this then blossomed out into like a grander conversation as their original tweet sort of went kind of viral. So yeah, shout out to my sewing.
Look at us doing well this week.
Yeah,
we're building the brand.
You're on brand. I've suddenly like gone off on some sort of textile tangent, but
that's fine.
Yeah, shout out to my sewing peeps. What?
Woo.
I mean, darn.
Oh, that was good. That was good. I'm not going to. That was good.
Thanks.
That's a good one.
Right.
So I can reveal something.
Yeah. You've got another little bookend on this.
Yeah. Really weird as well, because I just watched an episode of this 10 minutes before I got this message. I had a tweet from Chris Person from Kotaku, who does the highlight reel videos, where they just kind of take... Say again?
Papi Pichu.
Papa Pichu. Who does the highlight reel videos, where they sort of take loads of odd clips of like glitches and cool plays on games and stuff, and just fun stuff, and bang it all together a couple of times a week. And I had a little nice message saying, "Hey, this is cool. Can we use it?" And I'm like, "Of course you can use it. It's fine. Yeah, I'd love to." So I think I'm going to be in episode 401, which goes up as of time of recording, maybe quite soon. Like, it's Thursdays they go up, so it should be in today's one, maybe.
So remember, Paddy, before he goes on some sort of partying, clubbing, cocaine binge.
I'm famous, Mum. I did it. I achieved. Finally, I've achieved in life. I'm on Kotaku.
Yeah, episode 74 of Twin Humanities, you were like, I've written shitloads. We're like, are you doing blow? A bit.
What have you written? One more blow. I've written it really big, though. Does that count?
What have you been doing on Dark Souls 2? Give me a minute. Oh, that's where the flavour lives. Right, Dark Souls 2. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Because we did have a bit of a daft sort of bit on Dark Souls 2 recently, but and I haven't cut it because I didn't want it to sort of interrupt what was happening with you being hit by that bull twice. But it was a peach, and I will put it up, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then run up to the chariot boss.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump into a few Twitter bits early, since we're still talking about Dark Souls. So I said to people, care to share your thoughts on Dark Souls Remastered now you've played it? JuliusDean.txt at Gurnoise says, I had a lot of trouble getting it to work on my old PC, so I'm glad to have a version I can play, and it looks better than I expected. Carl's Corner on Twitter says, having a fine time with it, mainly due to the active online community, and the non-chugging Blighttown is a delight. Bed of Chaos is still bullshit, though.
That's true. I suppose, yeah, you can fix a frame rate, but you can't fix a broken shit boss, can you?
No. People forget about that boss when they're slagging off sort of bosses from other games. Like, almost as if there's no Rabash in the original. But our friend Dark J at Playful Wolf says, absolutely loving it. I wanted Souls 1 playable on a modern system. It always was. Xbox One backwards compatibility. Thank you very much. And this is that, as close to unchanged as it's possible to be, warts and all. I understand seeing a missed opportunity for a more extensive remaster, Shadow of the Colossus style, but I found myself happy. Though it makes me wonder if the word remaster has shifted in expectations, or if recent exceptional ones have set a very high bar. If they called it Dark Souls HD, would there have been less angst?
I would. That's a fair comment, actually, because I was
really
on this myself earlier. Yeah, because it's for all the sort of talk about it being a remaster, it's not really. They've just upped the resolution and smoothed it out, haven't they? It's not new models. It's not the environments haven't been redone. Like it's not been
tickled.
They've been tickled, yeah, but they've not. It's not like the great grand remastering I would expect. That when you look at something like you say, like Shadow of the Colossus, you know that remaster that came out. I know a lot of people said they didn't like it because of the animations changed, but it looks stunning.
But that's gone above and beyond what most remasters have been done. Like you look at Dragon's Dogma and stuff. That was pretty bare bones, and most of the time it's just taking the original and just crisping it up enough for maybe as much as I like that game, crisping it up enough for a money grab. So
I can see that. Yeah, but yeah, no, I think if they'd have called it Dark Souls HD, but then that doesn't look as good on a packet, does it?
No, and some people are in 4K now.
True. Dark Souls rekindled. That's terrible.
They could do dark, but they could put the K in a big capital, massive capital,
golden capital
with sharpened edges.
Ooh,
for a new generation. Just call it sharpened for a new generation. That should be fine. Everybody will know what it is. So Samuel Mills says, feels great to be back in it. My friend and I started playing a co-op run of Dark Souls on backwards compatibility 360 version, Woodward, Xbox One. But just didn't finish it. Brackets took a long time to find our signs. So we're playing through on the remaster, and this will be my first time finishing the entire game. Also, the quality of life improvements are fantastic. I'm also remembering how much I love this game. The ability to go to almost any area of the game from the start, if you know what you're doing, makes creating my build really fun. Also, as an aside, sorry if this is too much, no it isn't, I got to help someone play through the Undead Parish, who was obviously new to the game, and beat the gargoyles. It was great to see them get excited after defeating the gargoyles. That's really cool.
Hey,
yeah, I like that.
Here's a thing, actually. Here's a quick change while we're there. I think they've shortened the time from boss kill to you leave the game, haven't they?
No.
Because it feels like it. You don't usually have to feel like you got a chance to emote.
No, if anything, you've probably got a few more seconds to do it. It was super quick in Dark Souls. Super quick. Maybe there's something because the internet's actually a little bit spread up now, but you've seriously got to get in there with an emote like pretty damn quickly.
Oh yeah, because you want to do the little kind of wave or the bow or the shrug or anything really, just as you leave like that. Really? Ah.
Do you remember some of the stuff on DS2 recently where I've tried to like leave in a cool way and you were like, I can still see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run up behind you like, all right, where you going?
Yeah. Let me see. Carl Eric Matson said, I love it. I got to play Blighttown rather than watch it. Let me see. Chris Jenkins says, super fun to have tons of people playing. I love the frame rate. Hate that summons disappear immediately after bosses. And surprisingly having a better time playing on Xbox One than PS4. Would. So happy to have it on modern systems and can't wait for the Switch port. That's going to be so great to have on a handheld, you know.
But you're going to be playing summoning with people who could be shitting.
What? Say that again.
They could be shitting. Every time I see someone talk about the Switch port, it's like, I can play Dark Souls on the toilet.
They talk about having a poo, don't they?
You could be doing like a sensory, like a 4D thing in Blighttown. Like just really having a mean shit. And
I'm looking forward to if Nintendo's internet is up to scratch, which is, it'll be interesting to see me sitting in Starbucks trying to get on Starbucks Wi-Fi with my Switch and sort of take people on. But I'm kind of up for that, like just sitting back and playing Switch, and because I've not taken it out of the house. I rarely take it out of the dock, to be honest. But it'll be nice to play that on the go. And also, if I do go on a decent train journey or something, it's going to be like.
See, I think like the Switch version, it will be good for doing a 4D playthrough. So when you're in the undead, like the asylum at the start, which is ostensibly a castle, go to a castle for the day and just pop up somewhere really and play in a castle. And then when you get to the undead burg, you can go to the Museum of Buildings at Avencroft and hang out there for a bit and play some Dark Souls in a shed.
That makes for a really good like YouTube series.
find a big church for the undead parish, go to a forest for Darkroot. It writes itself.
You can imagine I'd get on a bus or get on a train, and I'd be maybe like 3.5 hours away from Manchester, and then 3.5 hours later, still in the Berg, got 70,000 souls.
Yep.
Yeah, playing on Trent Barton's Wi-Fi. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Anyway, let me see. Kara Rabbit Lee says, I love being able to play this again with a crowd. Also, new frame rate doesn't make me throw up. So A plus 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 plus.
That's a lot of pluses.
Yes, I haven't counted them, and I might be doing them a disservice. But I tried to intimate lots of pluses. The Patches says I'm playing the series. I'm playing the series essentially backward, and it's really interesting how deliberate Dark Souls 1 feels in comparison to what came afterwards. I think it does feel like very curated in that regard. I mean, I know with the likes of Dark Souls 2 and presumably Dark Souls 3 as well, you've obviously got areas that are plugged in together, like designed and glued onto each other. So yeah, that interconnecting nature's pretty damn cool.
I find it amazing when people play the games backwards as well. Like when Bloodborne's the first one they play, and then they do 3, and then they do 2, and then do 1. Like, hurts my brain. And I understand why people have done it that way, because they might not necessarily have access to 1 anymore. But how are you supposed to understand the legendary gaming reference in its fullest if you've not played the first one first?
Especially if the first games that you've played have been sharpened for a new generation, and you're kind of de-sharpening as you're going back. Anyway, it was. I mean, with Bloodborne going on Plus, I think that's been one of the biggest things that could happen to Dark Souls Remastered. But I will say, like previously, when people had played it because it was the first really super amazing PlayStation 4 game, really. I'd say
it was up there. Yeah, it was one of the first big like unique, fresh ones. Definitely.
I think in
that landed anyway, because you got your Knacks and your Orders of the world that didn't land so good. But this was really the first real super 10 out of 10 Smash they've had.
Well, you got a lot of people picking it up back then just because of the prestige of what it was. That it was this first like really great game for PS4. This super exclusive. They'd maybe heard things about Dark Souls and stuff in the past, maybe thought it wasn't for them, and played through Bloodborne and fell in love with it. But I know people who then moved backwards through the games who ended up they might have ended up liking Dark Souls the best of the lot, but I know people that bought PS3s to play like Demon Souls because they still had that urge to go back. But of those people, the folks who praised were amongst those praising Dark Souls 2 the most were people who went from Bloodborne to Dark Souls 2 who liked it for the contrast. So, and weren't going in sort of with a oh my god, it's not Miyazaki.
Miyazaki isn't Becky.
No, and just going in and just enjoying it because it was a little bit different. They still had fun with it. So, bless those people.
Bless them.
Diana, Angel No Moon, says worth it to have the whole family on a single console platform, thereby extending its life at least another few years, as well as the social aspect. I still have my PS3 connected to my TV, but I find it a rare opportunity to turn that on over the PS4.
Yeah, no, the lull of having all the all the good Souls games and Dark Souls 3 on one machine is really good.
See what you did there.
Boom.
Hashtag agenda.
Yeah, we've got Lords of the Fallen, Salt and Sanctuary all in the one building now. It's really good. The Surge. It's really good. Neo.
Morbid Beard said, it feels good to be back in the saddle. First time I've played the game in over a year, and it's just a delight. Even playing it post Witcher 3, this feels like putting on that favourite jumper and feeling instantly comforted. All we need now is Demon Souls to complete the set E3 2018.
Don't set him off. No.
This is my moment. Seriously, if that does happen, you just see me turn to energy and do a lap of the world. Like a scene from Xanadu.
We can't keep doing this. We can't keep doing this. I don't know how many more times you can do this to yourself.
Well, This is my year.
You said that the last 6 years.
I did, to be fair.
And every trade show there's ever been, every TGS, this will be the one. Every Gamescom, I reckon From have got something this time. Have they now?
Yeah.
Large bet on no.
Oh well, we'll see.
And they're bringing the supposed Shadows Die Twice. They're not going to bring Demon Souls Remaster as well. But that won't stop you believing, will it?
No, don't stop.
No.
Stanshaw says, this has probably been my most enjoyable time with the game. After some initial concerns about aesthetic changes, turns out it feels and looks pretty much identical, or as I remember it with my 1080p mind's eye. It's a rare pleasure to help obvious noobs and explore together.
It's interesting that you say that, because, like you say, it does look how you remember it, but like you compare that to something like, I don't know, it's generationally different, so you can't really compare, but like when you play the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy thing, or the Ratchet and Clank sort of reboot that came out the other year, those games look like how you remember them looking. Like, this is a cartoon Wonder Woman, and you go back and play and think, oh, it's ugly as shit. But I think with Dark Souls, I don't know if the graphics update has improved it. I'm not sure. Things look sharper, but they look squarer to my eye. I don't know.
I'm not sure about kind of. There was an interesting contrast with the original, like with the way sort of the darkness hit with that, really intense colour and a massive bloom and stuff. And I'm really quite torn about the look of it in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, the things like the textures are still, textures are nice and sharp, but the models they're on are still, fine. And, just making the Ivy move on things where the Ivy already was, that's not enough for me. Like, I don't know, if you're going to remaster it, I kind of would have wanted more foliage, more of the odd bits around the place, nothing that's going to impact the gameplay, but odd embellishments, because as it stands, the game's now, compared to, and this is the one thing I'm going to pull back on Dark Souls 3 on, actually, is like, Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, those worlds feel like just granular and full of stuff, like they feel lived in, whereas certain areas in Dark Souls Remastered particularly, and I think you get to a bit in 2 as well, just feel like corridors.
I mean, I was looking the other day and I was realising that I think the beta test had more of the signs for the Way of the White than I've seen in the game at the minute, because I was just staring at the Ivy and then realising that there were no sort of Way of the White signs down. The Holy and the Ivy.
Oh my goodness. Wait, did the signs change colour for the Way of the White? I've never understood what that covenant was for.
There were those, when they like circles, the white circles on the ground.
Oh, the miracle resonance stuff, isn't it? Oh, so I thought you meant like summon signs were different. I think, were they?
Holy and the Ivy.
Who's next?
Robert P. Amquist says, yeah, I'm happy. Think I prefer this type of remaster over a total overhaul. It just wouldn't have felt the same.
It's fair. To be fair, then, yeah, if we had changed it, we'd be whinging, wouldn't we?
Luckily McDonald says, it feels like meeting old friends for drinks at the same bar you used to hang out in at university. It's so comfortable and I missed it. The improvements are just enough of a reason to come back, and I love seeing the world so full of other players.
Yeah? No arguments at all.
Sione Boy
said,
it's Dark Souls with a welcome lick of paint and some WD-40. Just what I wanted. Sure, I'd like a full remake one day, but then again, maybe I wouldn't. Anyway, it's essential, and I'm looking forward to playing it on Switch too. There we go. Martin Charlton.
There's another Dark Souls shitter.
Martin Charlton says, having a sensational time. First time through a Souls game with my son co-op. He's 9. And at the time of writing, we've beaten the 4 kings, Artorias, and are heading towards Nito. He's in love with it, and I get to see it for the first time again through his eyes. That's amazing. And
that is incredible.
I love Martin anyway. I think he's great. But we'll have to have him and his boy on just to find out what they think and stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
We're gonna have to not swear.
You're going to have to not swear.
All right.
I'm the good lad.
Are you?
The holy and the ginger. when they are making shows. Holy wears the crown. Lord Dad, the Law Hunter, says with the price of admission for the active community alone, regularly seeing phantoms resting by the bonfire, lakes of bloodstains at a challenging point, and co-op and PvP thriving, a transcendent and fleeting experience the Souls games grant upon release. The game itself feels mercifully the same, with a bit of extra clarity and smoothness. This lends towards noticing a detail that blended in with the world before, granting a rejuvenated appreciation for the world and the feeling of meaningful reunion. Well
that
said,
was very clever. Yeah.
Jeremy Greer then says, "It's very goose."
Very goose.
And then afterwards says, "And don't think I didn't see that tweet you deleted."
Did you do a typo?
No, I did something which was very bladed towards him, and then just thought it was mean. So I thought less of it. But we'll come back to that in a bit, won't we, Jeremy? Right, I can click off the Twin Humanities stuff. So that's so we're going to go back to Soul stuff, but more importantly to Scholar of the First Sin. Whilst others
he says,
yes. Whilst others have been rampaging through Remaster, we've also been progressing like funky basts. Last time we just done most of the Bastille and the Skeleton Warriors. Cops in the cops. Woo woo. This time we did the Chariot boss. You got accepted into the Murdering Midget Covenant, and I didn't.
Yeah, I don't know why. I must have done an invasion, but I don't remember doing that.
You probably looked at your bumhole face and just went, pedo.
Do you think I picked up like a token of spite from somewhere?
Don't know.
Is there one you can just pick up in the world? Maybe I just picked it up, but it's like, oh, you've got a token of spite. Welcome.
Don't know. Those
are the rules of spite. I mean,
that was a great episode. I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that one too.
So we then headed to Poison Funland for Fun in Poison.
That was a laugh. Harvest Valley, I always thought was quite a crap level, but I really enjoyed that.
People hate Harvest Valley.
Because it's poison. Because there's so much poison. I get it. Like, I get why the poison sucks. Like, and there's so much of it all the time. But co-op fun time was really good.
Well, I saw Epic Name Bro when he was doing his Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin lore run, really properly rinse that basin where there's kind of things crawling about in it and there's the different holes and stuff, and I was like, man, cool. So I wanted to grab as much of that stuff as possible on this run, but I don't know, we just had a really good time. We had a laugh. I was pretty good. We found the Sunlight Covenant fairly quickly, and
quite nice for it to be quite near the start of the game, isn't it?
Quite nice, yeah. Not right at the start, obviously, but pretty near to the start.
Imagine putting it near the end. What a bad idea that would be.
Why would you do that? It's almost as if you hate the Covenant, and you hated one of your main characters who you then just playing out as a bloke.
Yeah, or turned into a worm, for instance, or soup.
But we had top times, and again, amazing NPCs.
Oh yeah.
We had Bashful Rays with his honking great claws, but not yet binoculars. Devotee Scarlet, I think it was, with remotes, pointing at the windmill he's supposed to set on fire and celebrating as it burns. Jester Thomas was incredible. Don't give a fuck pyro extravagance during the Mithra boss fight, although he didn't do his kind of flaming disappearance at the end with us.
See you later, goodbye, explosion time. I missed that. When you're expecting
we were all building up to that.
I don't know. Here it comes, and maybe that's his way. Maybe he doesn't bring it out every time to keep you keen.
But we had good times. We were seemingly holding our own, for the most part, other than falling off a few things and getting squashed by roofs that we didn't realise were on timers.
Oh my god, yeah, that was incredible. So there is a puzzle bit in the middle of the windmill where you hit I think you pull a switch and then a section of the floor raises up and you can run under and get the stuff. And I think you ran in with Manhunter O'Hara and you were just stood there. And I'm stood at the top of it looking down going, dude, move. And then you were upset because you thought I'd done something.
Yeah,
What are you doing, you Jeb? And I went, it's not me! Run! Run, you fool! And then you got squished.
If I'd pulled the switch, I'd go and play Dark Souls while having a poo. Thanks. So next we've got...
You were almost a CJ sandwich.
So next we've got Iron Keep on the one hand, but we do have Team Panther Punchu to return to. Twin Cestus, Belfry, Underpants and Fighting. Will anyone be there? To be honest, there are still loads of people in it.
We got invaded, didn't we? Like 3 times.
There's still loads of people playing Dark Souls 2, the game that apparently the entire community hates, apart from me, you, I think Jeremy, Bonfire Side Chat, and somebody who put that tweet up once who went like, Whispers, I think Dark Souls 2 might be the best one.
Was it John Gamble?
No, I don't think it was.
It
might be the most interesting one. I think that's what they said. But yeah, there's at least 6 or 7 of us, and everybody else just doesn't like it.
And us 6 or 7 are really enjoying it. We're still having problems matchmaking, but we're getting there.
So yeah, we're doing all right with matchmaking.
The thing is, I don't think we even need to put our ring on anymore. Like, there's a few people being summoned, but we generally don't. I don't think we need it.
Don't know. There was one lad who invaded us, who then put his sign down as a summon straight afterwards. Obviously, stop this invading, lark. I'm just going to help people. So again, the better friend. On Barca. E3 2018.
It's not happening.
Pray for CJ. So will anybody be there for us to fight when we go to Team Pantu Punchu returns? We will be there in underpants, ready to fighting. I'd kind of be up for streaming that, to be honest. I'd be up for some Belfers action in my pants.
Battle in the Belf.
My beautiful pants and my gloves made for war.
What kind of gloves are you going to bring? Are you going to infuse, or are you going to keep that secret?
They're going to be made of crepes and pain au chocolat. And I'm going to have one of them is going to be like the dark end from Dark Souls 1, but it is actually a pain au raison. I will confuse them with eating and then fighting. Moving on.
Knuckle sandwich, my friend.
Stop doing that accent, it's so nasty.
Yeah.
So, Dark Souls Remastered guide has come out. It's the second version, and it's not just a reprint. I mentioned previously that Epic Namebro said he was writing for it on the lore side. He tipped the hat that Lobos Jr. Was working on the bosses, but he didn't want to mention the other names in case they didn't want their involvement to be known at that point. There are about, as far as I can remember, about 10 writers involved on it. There was about five with names that I noticed, but yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure of the differences yet because I've not sort of pored over them side by side. But obviously, you've got accurate stats for the remaster as opposed to the pre-patch stats that were listed in the original.
Goodness, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Plus the hard work of those aforementioned esteemed peeps. But I'll investigate further and I'll have a full report for next time. Amazon seem to be faffing around across the world with this. I got it ordered pretty early from Amazon UK for launch day. Then they told me it'd be the following Wednesday. Then they actually turned up at work on the Saturday with it. Lots of people in the US seem to be in limbo with it. Amazon just aren't. I haven't given them a date. They're not sure when they're going to have it in stock. So, as I've said on Twitter to a few folks, a website over in the UK called the Book Depository do have it in stock, and they do free worldwide shipping. So, if you're worried, pop over there and order one.
I love the book. I've used Book Depository before. They're good.
Do you know what the irony of this is?
Go on.
Do you know who they're owned by?
No.
Amazon.
Really?
They are now, anyway.
But they're better than Amazon.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
It's weird.
Yeah, so who knows? But yeah. On to streaming. I mentioned in previous episodes about Soraya Slay's streams. Like Ellie, she's new to the series with Bloodborne. and she completed Bloodborne with all the DLC, like without summoning, which is just terrifying. But well played, Sarah. And is going into Remastered brilliantly, knowing nothing. And it is an absolute pleasure watching a new player go through the game blind, and it brings back sort of ace memories of my debut run. I mean, is there anything in particular you knew absolutely nothing about on that first run until?
I got all my tips from you. Like I knew some names. I knew, for example, that there were some archers in Anor Londo that were dickheads. I knew that until I met them. I wasn't sure what it was about, but I knew that was coming. Like I knew that. What else did I know? There was a few odd facts that I knew just from reading the Dark Souls thread, you know. But when you read about a game you've not played, like, it doesn't really sink in. Like, there's no context. It doesn't sit in because you don't know what to say. Like, oh, Ornstein and Smoog, what's that all about? Like, it's just a hard boss. Okay, that's fine. Until you've experienced it, you don't know what it means. But yeah, I didn't know an awful lot. I was getting every tip I needed off of you. I think you were giving me kind of guides, like, try going this way, try going that way. Like, oh, okay, I'll try going this way.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to take that original playthrough away from anyone. I mean, like when I first played it, I had no clue about the lore stuff or anything like that because Demon Souls wasn't particularly obvious on that. It was like it was a great world, but I didn't know that there was such a tight story, you know, within the descriptions and the links between characters and stuff. I didn't realise that there was a ladder that you could climb up to that top turret and fight the Taurus demon and drop on him. So I fought the Taurus on the ground while being sniped by skeletons I didn't think I could get to. Or like undead that I didn't think I could get to.
Wow.
It was much, much later when I saw a video and I went, there's a ladder? I mean, like, the club... How was I to know that was the best strength weapon in the game? It's a stick, mate. It's a stick.
Stick with nails, mate. Stick with nails.
The Drake sword, why would I shoot a dragon's tail 120 times? You just maybe give it about like 5 or 6 and just go, just not doing
I think someone told me about that. Like, I remember doing that and it was fine, but maybe if I play back the podcast, those episodes where I had it, I'll be like, oh, it's the best sword I've ever used. Like, but thinking about like, it was alright. It wasn't that good. It's just a sword, isn't it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I think it was a bit sketchy about the being human to summon thing. I don't know, because it did seem... Because I'm sure Demon Souls gave you extra health as an incentive to be human.
Yes, definitely.
And I just kind of cottoned on when I was first playing Dark Souls that this wasn't the same, or it's not, it was maybe a design sort of quirk, and I didn't bother. I mean, I think I beat most everything without summoning on that original run, which as far as
I think
until the DLC came around,
yeah, I think I only ever summoned if I was having problems on a boss, and I was like, right, well, I'm going to use Humanity now. I think that's the only times I ever actually used it, outside of like popping an extra one to kindle a bonfire up to 20 where I could, or 15 or 20. I love to kindle my bonfires up. Like, that's my main use of Humanity, not to turn human, just to kindle the bonfires back up. But yeah, like going back to like first playthroughs, like. That's something I was kind of thinking about when we were playing with Ellie, because we were having fun, like we had a real good time. But I was thinking, like, are we taking something away by being here to help through it? Like, is part of learning Dark Souls bouncing off that first area, for an hour? Is that part of it? Like, because we were like pointing out doors and things, not like going, there's a secret in there, but like, just casually going, have a look over there, or just pointing, and I mean, letting her lead, but kind of following along, and you just kind of go, you just come back before you go that way. Just have a quick look down that way. Like, I kind of wondered if we were taking something away by being there.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too like knowledgeable and shunting sort of Ellie down anywhere particularly.
The verbal equivalent of one of those guys that runs off and does the level for them, like that, but in words.
Well, there was a bit in that when I was watching the Soraya Slay's stream and early stuff, and there was one guy who came into the chat and was like, oh, wait until you get to Anor Londo. Oh, wait, have you tried this? And it's just like, seriously, just let her play the game. Let her just discover the game and have the joy of discovering it, not leaning into that kind of garbage. I'm gonna bounce here to not streaming to YouTube, and in particular, YouTube, because I don't think we've covered this on last time. You put up your final videos for the...
Oh, yeah.
Did
I
we
think I
cover
was
this last
really...
time? I don't think
I feel like I was really close to the end at that point.
Yeah.
But I think I had about 2 episodes left to go. I'm sure of it, yeah. No, because the last videos have gone up, and they are like the latest videos on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I finished it. And the thing is, at the time, I had finished it when we last recorded, but because it hadn't gone up yet, I kind of didn't want to talk too much about it.
Shh.
It was
That's what he did.
No talking. Yeah, I finished my one, bro. I think I finished it with aplomb. I did end up summoning Solaire at the end, because I wasn't getting anywhere on my own. And turns out Gwyn's a bastard. If you're not that good at parrying, because I'd forgotten how to parry, and being a one, bro, if you miss one parry, you're basically dead.
Yeah, I was pump at parry.
And if you drink an Estus, Gwyn doesn't seem to like you drinking Estus, because he does that kind of forward dashing sword move where he just kind of whizzes straight forwards with his sword outstretched and impales you on it.
Do you have to kind of nip behind that giant walnut whip?
Safety pillar.
Yeah.
Even then, sometimes he jumps over it. Or he'll kind of whoosh around it, like a whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I was having real difficulty getting my heels off, and I was like, you know what? I think I told myself about episode 122, I was like, right, I'm going to do this a couple more times. I'm going to summon on episode 124, and if I can't do it on that episode, then I'm going to cut and, go to montage, as I like to say. I'm going to go to a montage.
All this time we were playing that and trying to save Solaire to the point where it's like, yeah, mate, come for you. Tell you what, brought your lad. And now it's just a bloke. Grins all the time. He's just been like, why is he just
some guy? Who's him?
Why is
he
this? A bloke. What's he dressed up like? All
Is
right,
he a postman?
coin clothing. You're going straight away.
Who's this fanboy?
So I like the way that that you did the bookend with the advert for the charity stream, which is where you started it.
I had to go find that video on my computer. It took me a long time to find, but I knew it was there somewhere.
Yeah,
I was making that in my garden just one afternoon. I was like, right, I've got an afternoon free. I've got a stupid idea. Someone said I heard the phrase "cowboy up" somewhere. I thought, it's a good idea for a video.
I have all those clothes.
I do. To be fair, since then I've got more as well, so it's actually a more authentic cowboy outfit now. But yeah, I decided to find that video and link it in because I'm missing the footage from the stream. I didn't have YouTube set to record or Twitch set to record to YouTube. I didn't know how to do that. I'd never streamed before. Like, it was my first time. I didn't know you had to set that up as a setting. And given that we had that, I think when we were talking together, there was like a 5-minute delay at one point, wasn't there? We had to kind of reset the stream a few times because we kept getting out of sync.
Yeah.
I think the bit rates were all fucked up. But I learned that later, but it was too late by that point. So the videos were gone by that point. So I thought I had to put some sort of where the story began almost. And because I really like that piece of music, the Ennio Morricone Ecstasy of Gold from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, I really like that bit of music. And I thought that'd be a nice thing to end on as well. And it's like suitably ridiculous and majestic. And I thought, well, that's going to be good for the finish, right? And I knew I wanted to kind of kick in as I'm walking out of the final room, and that worked way better than I would have expected. Like, even synced up with the ending cutscene I didn't have to do anything. I just started it, and it fit in one go. I didn't have to move it once. I was like, well, that'll do. Then, yeah, like I say, found the old video, chucked that in as best I could to make it match up, and again, not a lot of editing, really, because it was to the same music. So I just, again, lined it up and pressed go, and off it went. And, a nice little nod to the start. And then I thought, I did a quick recap, rang the bells, got to Anor Londo. The footage was lost to the annals of history, which I was quite proud of that. And I thought, well, wow, how can I finish this? And I thought I'll put all the boss kills in. Because that's, that's the moments, isn't it? That's the real kind of like, yes! Fuck you! Moments of the series. And putting them together, that bit was like one of the best bits of the whole, like, creation of the whole series thing, outside of making the fun, the anime ones and the DLC montages that I put together. Like, that's probably the most fun I've had, and like the best feeling I've had putting a video together for a while, because I was looking back at all my victories and like how wound up I was at the time. And there's some where I'm definitely more animated than others. The Ornstein and Smoke kill, you can tell that I get up when I walk away from the microphone because the voice goes very quiet, like the over there. It made me giggle watching again. And then there's one, like, I think it was Priscilla, which I did in like 1 or 2 goes, and I was like, fire, yes, easy. Or just getting exhausted noises at the end of the DLC bosses, shouting "come on" at Calamite when I had 1 hit left and I couldn't hit him.
Still can't believe that you've done those DLC bosses on your own for a start, but
I can't believe I
like
did them without pyro.
Oh, Jesus!
I did them all without. I threw 1 fireball at Artorias. Otherwise, I did the whole lot without pyro. Because it's not. The stick was better at that point.
It's like just to let him know.
Yeah,
I've got this, but I'm not going to use another one.
Don't even need it.
Yeah, don't even need this.
And I was gonna go through and take all the Dick Week victories as well, but there were too many of them. The video would have gone on for too long.
And on that note,
in your face, Jeremy. In your face.
We shall go back to streaming because Jeremy Greer has been doing an 8 run with his character Jeremy Justice, I think it is. This involves him looking a little bit like Professor Zoom from the Flash comics, invading, in this case, Anne Orlando, and tempting the host and summons into hitting him. After a handful of times, there's an explosion, which more often than not takes out all of them. Then laughter. It was a really good time. Lots of laughs in the chat. And that was until... #FlipFlopGate.
Oh, here we go.
Jeremy mentioned wearing flip-flops. I thought it was a joke. I thought he mentioned it in some kind of ironic way. I looked up to him, a man of his stature, shush you, with such a fine podcast, and like that would never disrespect his feet, make mankind like that, but that's not the case. Hence his podcast is in danger of being known on the streets where life really matters as Don't Flip Flop Skeleton. And I'm currently collecting pictures of horrified skeletons in Scholar of the First Sin, who I'm telling about Jeremy and flip-flops. Given the ebullient Autumn Greer loves equestrian stuff, does that make Jeremy the derp horseman of the flip-flopalypse?
What? Say that again.
The derp horseman of the flip-flopalypse. Anyway, I make no apologies for that joke. Oh, and I mentioned this...
Doesn't the Flopalypse belong on his other podcast, Days of Flip Flop Past?
No, don't. Oh, and I mentioned that this is only 1 step away from wearing Crocs, at which point Jez was all, oh no, I would never wear those. Doesn't sound quite as good.
CJ, Jeremy's on the call.
Who knew? Yeah, he was like, I would never wear those, as if there's some kind of huge leap between the two. I mean, the only difference is one involves your foot being engulfed in some kind of marshmallow flump-chewed bubblegum affair that looks like something from the future school in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and at least that gets props for the vague Bill and Ted's reference. The other is a bit of tat uncommonly gripped between big toe and second toe. A shit strip of grip.
I'm getting the feeling you don't like flip-flops.
These truly are the end times. Until next time, my beautifuls, goodbye.
Goodbye.